Hello everyone and welcome back to that one playthrough of MMORPG Tycoon 2. I am Kyle once again, and we have returned here to do some more work on the desert region of Zephyr. So when we left off, we had started to build out this town, or not started, it's pretty much a town. We populated it with some NPCs, our brand new, not brand new, but same fighters, but now they are fighters of Zephyr, so they are labeled for their home region of this desert landscape. And I was experimenting a little bit with some rocks, and I decided to stack one upside down on top of this one, which kind of creates the same effect as, say, creating one of these orangey looking ones, but I thought I'd keep the color tone the same. So we're gonna experiment with that. The other thing I did, because some of these buildings and rocks weren't supported, like there was space underneath them, so like the corner of this obelisk tower, I supported the end of it with an upside down version of these rocks as well, and then I decided to kind of just create a staggered cliffside, and you can kind of see how that looks once it's built out. It kind of gives a little bit more of an overhang, which I kind of liked, versus the towered ones over here, which kind of, move inward, pointier at the top versus at the bottom. So I'll experiment and kind of play around with both versions of that. And then also doing the kind of, stack an upside down one on top. But I think that'll add some more texture and stuff out across the entire region as we build this out. You can see I put in one of those kind of upside down ones here to kind of support this rock, or at least look like it was supporting. And then rather than just having the slopes down of the sand dune here, it creates a little bit more of a cliffside, and I kind of created these little staggers here as well. That looked pretty cool. Some things we'll probably want to make sure we do is add fencing inside some of the scenery, because obviously we don't want people walking straight through them. They'll stick to paths most of the time, but like for this spot right here where these buildings are, there's a potential they'll just kind of walk through the scenery itself. So we'll add some fences into those as well as inside here to kind of just prevent that from happening. I also put in another depot over here for the airship, and the only reason I did that was so that an actual airship would appear. Otherwise, if you just have one depot, they don't actually fly around and they won't actually come here and stop at any point. I also wanted to use it in the picture for the thumbnail from the previous episode, so that's why I didn't have it in the previous episode, but it is relevant now because it was used to take a pretty picture. So with that in mind, I need to kind of think about what the next step is here and where we're going to move players to after they leave this region. I could just have them forcibly get on the airship and go this direction, and then have more stuff going on over here to start with, and then eventually they kind of make their way into other regions back over here again, which might be a good way to look at it. I'm going to kind of think about it as we're building stuff out. I'm going to start off with some scenery building in the region here, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, there is one thing I want to go over, and that is back here in Brightwood. What I did was I went through and I looked at a bunch of the quest givers, so NPCs that are quest givers, and as far as all level 1 quests go, I bumped up the experience given to every player by roughly 30%. So each one of those quest givers gives a little bit more experience, so players will get to level 2 faster, and I think I'm going to go through real quick and do the exact same thing for all the level 2 quests, so that way they get to level 3 faster, because right now we currently have 532 level 2 players, which is a good amount. It's starting to build up quicker and quicker. So giving them more experience, increasing the movement speed of player characters has let this kind of build up faster and faster, but I'd like to see the progression build from there into level 3 as well. Because right now there's nobody in Eastwash, so our next region has not had a player character in it. So I want to do what I can to kind of help progress that along, so that at least Brightwood starts to alleviate some pressure, because right now we have almost 8,000 subscribers in the game, and they are all forced to be in this region currently. And that's a problem that's going to create more pressure as time goes on. So what we'll do is, there's a couple ways we can do this actually. If we go into the quests, we can do it to each individual quest. So like this one that's 250, I could make it 350, 350. I can make this one like 750, and then I can make this one like 1500, or I can just give a bigger dump of experience for the last quest in that area. And now that I'm looking at this requires them to go back up to this guy over here, but it should not be called Find the Beer. It should not be this. we're just gonna call this problem solved. This is the one where they had to go over and figure out what the thefts were going on with this area. And I'm gonna literally change this to 2,000 experience on the last one, so that there's a bigger dump at the end. So rather than just increasing the experience of every single quest within these quest givers, I'm gonna go to their last one, which usually either transfer them to another quest or just concludes the one they're on entirely. And we're gonna make sure that that just gives them more. So if they finish the whole quest line, they should get a really, really big dump of experience. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this guy. So when you complete Hero of Brightwood, make this a little bit bigger, 2,500. And because it requires, I think, 16,000 experience to get from level 2 to level 3, that should be a really good chunk. You know, it'll only take about 8 big quests to do that. If you're doing all the stuff in the middle, obviously, too, there's even more. This quest giver is getting dogpiled, apparently. Can't even click on him. This is one of those ones where it's like just a couple of filler quests. Literally, you have to fill a bucket. So I'm not gonna worry about that one, but they cycle you, let's see. It cycles from this quest giver. So let's go into this person. And then when you get the dump for enjoy some ale at the end of helping out the estate here, let's just make this a bit bigger. I'm gonna say 1,500. Same goes for Baron Oathengrad. He just wants you to bring him a sausage. What the heck? He should be directing you up here to this person. Yeah, edit. Man, there's some cleaning up I gotta do apparently through here that I didn't even realize wasn't working. Yeah, we'll say 500 for that. That's fine. I'm just gonna say go serve because he's just a snotty rich dude, I guess, and he's just like, hey, go help with things. There's a little bit of a bonus there, and then I think this guy, was there a guy over here? Yes, there's a guy right here. This town guard is a quest giver. He just wants you to feed the livestock. He should actually be directing you back over to the head servant as well. So I'm not sure why that's a thing. Okay. Might have to double check a lot of these. Maybe that's why people aren't leveling up. They're just, my quests have gotten deleted for some reason. We're gonna call this one done for the day. Oh, that's a capital O. We don't want that. And let's make this a little bit bigger as well. We'll just say 750. Yeah, this should help quite a bit, I think, now that I'm realizing some of these weren't even complete loops. The problem. Now I gotta check over here because I don't even know if Captain Nathan and the clan over on this side have got all their stuff. Okay, it does. So, inform the general. This one can be huge. I'm gonna double it and just go 3,000 on that one. Now this means that in theory, a lot of the players might not necessarily even have to complete all of the little quest lines we've created, but at least for this region, I'm okay with that because I'd like them to move on to the next region, and then from there, there's gonna be, you know, more decisions that can be made to divide amongst other regions in general. Road to Valkyrin, we'll just make this a solid 1,000, which reminds me, we need to kind of figure out what our main story quest should be more like in Eastwash, because in Eastwash, it kind of just gets you involved with the locals, and then there's nothing that kind of transitions you to go to, you know, the main city that we're going to create at some point. It's going to take you through this region that, you know, spoiler alert, I guess. Zephyr is going to be a pathway into Valkyrin. Valkyrin is not connected. It's not going to be one of the next regions. It will be still a little bit later on, but they'll have to pass through here. So we'll figure out if we want the road to Valkyrin to be something that involves you going through the quest specifically in Eastwash or Zephyr or any of the others in the future, or if it just kind of pushes you along to the main city, because I'd like the main city to be accessible from level 1 to level 20. Everybody should be included and allowed to go there. And then it just so happens that you'll be able to, you know, access little other storylines along the way. All right, we're gonna press play just to make sure we're making money as well here. But that should overall help a lot of the experience gaining and get things moving a little bit quicker. The nice thing about this is we don't have to worry about players kind of interfering with what we're doing in this zone yet, so we can flesh things out pretty fluidly. The question is now, do we want to have it start here and immediately progress to the other side? Because if we look at the terrain view I've got this on right now, you can see the lines of where the chasms are, and everything in between players will be able to walk. So we could put paths through some of these if we wanted to and connect a lot of it. The only places that aren't connected are essentially this hump, and then this space here kind of divides all the way across. So there's no way for the players to walk from here into the second half of it as the game stands right now. So the only way they can do that is via the air depot. So the question now is, do I want this air depot to be activated and then start creating something over here that's going to create another pocket of where players will find stuff to do, and then they shift their way back to the other side, which I'm kind of leaning towards now. I think everything we built last time is a good little starter introduction of like, you know, welcome to the region and what it looks like, and you'll see a lot of this stuff. And then it's kind of like a cool little segment of, yeah, once you get on the airship, you'll travel through the rest of the region. And I'm planning on putting more rocks throughout here that are really tall and kind of in the way. So one, it blocks views like we've talked about before in Eastwash. I like the idea of not being able to see everything in the region. That's hard to do in a desert when it's just open view like this. So using rocks and obstacles at certain points so that players feel like there's still an exploratory way of getting through here. So I want to create a lot of canyons and a lot of large rock obstacles, and we'll have the Zeppelin kind of like zigzag through the region once we build out some of that, so it'll feel like you have to navigate further than it actually is. It'll make the region feel 2 to 3 times bigger. Before we get too carried away over here, what I think we should do, because I want to preemptively anticipate where certain things are going to be. I think in Eastwash I kind of went along with the flow of things, which was good. I like how this turned out, but not knowing where the transition point between regions was kind of creates some issues. So I think it would be good to actually buy the next region. So we'll go into our grid view, and this one is currently called Fellstone. We're gonna purchase it, and right now it's level 1. I'm not gonna worry about that. Well, actually what I should do is we should jack up the level at least a bit, because if we leave it as level 1, then what'll happen is I think players from over here will start to try and figure out a way to get over there, because it's another level 1 region, and we don't want them to do that quite yet. All right, so since we've got that, then we're gonna create the kind of mountain pass here. I am thinking that we just kind of keep it right in the corner. Let's see, how tight can we make this? Ooh, that's cool. Let's see, we can get it really far to one side here. And that makes it kind of up on the side of the hill. I kind of like that. So as you're leaving, you're at a little bit higher altitude. That's good. I like it. Now, second question, now that I'm looking at this and I have the money and I don't really care, if I purchase this one, and I'll just make this like level 20 so nobody gets any crazy ideas. Okay, maybe not that high. We'll just make it like 6 or something, or 6 to 11. There we go, 6 to 11. Nobody go there, okay? Actually, that's too crowded. I don't like how that looks. 6 it is. If I create another mountain pass, I can go. Ooh! I saw it. There it is, right there, right there. If I go like that, I can have this go from one pivot point, 2 regions as the option. Okay, so we'll do that for now, but we're not going to utilize this space. I just wanted to see if I could do this, and then I guess in theory I could create another one there. Okay, we'll think about that, but that's definitely another cool option. Have like a big cross path area here with a big mountain in the middle. Things to think about. If I did that, is this considered non-buildable terrain? I know I can build scenery on it, but like what's the limitations on buildings? It looks like you can create buildings. Interesting. Okay, well, we're gonna think about that, but I like the way that looks. Kind of create a dividing line, and then when we add scenery, it'll help kind of create more texture and levels to this, as far as it feeling like it's 2 very distinct paths, but also things are hidden, so it doesn't feel like you're just staring at this big open valley on 2 sides. Okay, then I want to mess with terrain again. We're gonna desertify this. And what does that do? Ooh, that actually, did that lower that? I don't think so. No, that's about the same. Okay, it just did weird things. Okay, anyways. Okay, I definitely know I want snow for the most part here. Kind of up to the corners. And that kind of, yeah, it does weird things with the hill here. Actually, I kind of like Oh, that's set low. And then there's actually a decent slope here to create a path. Let's leave that as it is. Let's create more snow on this side. If I do that, we'll get rid of the cactus. It will, sweet. We'll go like that. If I put this here, how much does that jack up that nice slope? Not too bad, actually. It creates another hill here-ish. But I like how it tiers it a little bit. Cool, okay. Yeah, and I kind of like where this is at now. I would have probably moved it, but we'll just utilize this entire corner to kind of create another colony civilization type section. And then we're really close to Brightwood. We can go spy on people over here. Okay, and then the first thing I want to do is add in a path here, just because creating a path to me is like a really easy, fluid way to begin the feel of what an area is like. So we'll kind of have this go out. I don't like how sharp that is. Go like that. Is that okay? Yeah, that should work. And then we'll have this kind of continue down this mellower slope, say to there. And then let's have it curve abruptly. And it'll come along the front of this. We'll have that end there. And then how severe is this? It's not too bad actually, but let's go from this same corner here, curve it out and then around, let's see. I want it to kind of go straight down. So let's go slight curve to there and then have it really slope into the lower portion there. And then we can kind of build off of there if we need to. So people will come in on the Zeppelin from here to there, and then they're gonna have quests that kind of take them back into the thicker part of the desert here. So we're gonna go into our network really quick. Yeah, this kind of connects in that way. So if I go, there's some irreversible sections, but if I go there, oh, I thought some of these were interconnected a little more. Let's go to there, like that, and then does this go across? No. Okay, this isn't necessarily a problem. What we'll do is we'll create this to go to here, and then from there, yeah, that creates a really good wall of stuff. And we'll take this, how far can I, ooh, I can go far. Okay, we'll just go like that. Grab this one more time, and it's gonna carry over. Okay, it shows me where those points are, so we'll go there, and then we'll just create a little section there, and then a little section right about there. Good, now that's all pretty much filled in, and then we'll go a little stretch, let's see, we'll go out a little bit here, and then this way, so that we just cover the rest of the region. Perfect. Okay, now obviously there's a corner up here we haven't gotten, but can I, ooh, that'll go that direction. Can't cross there, but that's okay. So let's just do that. And then let's finish this out. So I'm just gonna take this to here. I didn't change over the cord. There we go. Crosses irreversible terrain. Why is it, oh, there it goes. No, why is, okay, it won't let me go that way. I can go that way though, right? And it's filling up. It doesn't want to fill up. Maybe it wants to fill up. If I connect it back to here, that should fill it up. There we go. Okay. So there's a little bit of a dead spot here, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so everything should be active now here, which means our depot is going. Guess I never realized there's no arid walls, and I don't like the big castle walls for this aesthetic. Maybe these big wooden ones? But that doesn't really feel like it makes much sense considering there's no trees here. There are trees here though, and I do want to make sure I create some kind of transition between the two, which is part of the reason why there's snow here on the edge. I would like there to be these rocks. There's not a good way to really put snow on them. Like there's other rocks that have snow, which will fit just fine when we need to put those up. That's a big snowbank. That's probably, yeah, that's too aggressive. Like these kind of rocks that have the snow on top, that's a doable thing. Okay, let's just kind of feel this out a little bit and see where we might want some of these bigger scenery pieces. That looks like a good home for you. And then let's kind of put one big one over here as well. And then kind of visually, I'm not sure how I want to obstruct some of this. I did want to create, let's see, where this was in, yeah, landmarks is where the big obelisk is that we already built one of. So if I take this, I kind of wanted to create a little bit of a geometric shape here. Don't really have an idea of what to do with it quite yet, but I want to put one there. That didn't really play around too much with the ground, which is good. I like how it's high up. You can see the other one, okay. And then I want to put another one kind of over here, so we create like a triangle. So let's put this one, put it there for now. Yeah, so we got a nice little triangle there. We'll put something in there in regards to their purpose when we start to flesh out some quests. As far as these rocks go now, I want to add a couple more big ones, and I think it would be nice if we just created some big visual obstacles. So I'm gonna put this in the middle of where the Zeppelin's path is right now. Almost like we're kind of, well, maybe we're kind of creating a wall with these. I mean, I don't want it to feel like I'm just like putting a wall next to each other and make a big giant wall, but that could kind of be like a natural barrier that exists for this area. It's hard to navigate this region, so if anyone did want to invade for any reason, it's just a pain in the butt. Putting a couple more of these rocks scattered around. I'm gonna lower this one. And then making something big. I want there to be a large excessive rock feature. And when I say excessive, I mean I want this to just feel obnoxious a little bit. I'm gonna flip one of these, and then let's raise it up. Kind of tier it that way. Let's see, let's flatten this out slightly. Whoa, that was trippy. Okay, so we'll go like that, and then let's rotate it this way, so it kind of looks like, kind of line up. Actually, what we should do, let's shrink this one a little bit on top, and then lower it to like there. And we'll go in that way, lower it a little more. Be a little higher. Rotate. Whoop. That. Go that way. So tall, it's hard to get a shot of it here. Okay, I think that's about what I want right there. Kind of stack it like that. Yeah. I like the sandstone color like this. I mean, well, I guess they might kind of sort of both be sandstone, but I don't want the red rocks. I'm going to keep the theme the same here with this color. The red rocks, maybe, I'm sure there'll be a future desert section. We might utilize more of the red ones, but for the time being, we're going to stack these to kind of create that same effect. And then this is kind of what I was doing, because this is preset now to be upside down here. You can kind of use this to create some of those cliff sides. So if you were to raise this, oh, that was too high. You shrink it, and then you lower it, and then you enlarge it. You can get away with some of that cheekiness. Yeah, the only problem is players can't like climb on top of these things. There's no like physicality to it, unfortunately. I'm gonna shrink this and drill it down a little bit further. And then just kind of place it like that. Creates a really cool cliffside to it. And then we can kind of shrink these so we get a little bit more layering to it here. So yeah, now like if you could imagine from down here, you'd have a pretty cool like staggered cliffside that feels like it hangs over a little bit. Unfortunately, players will not be able to, I think, walk down here, but nonetheless, all I care about is what it looks like from our perspective. And we can always do this too, where once these are kind of placed like that in the canyon, we can put another one on top of it. So that way it visually still kind of blends. It doesn't look like there's just always going to be these awkward points of contact that are flat, perfectly flat. Okay, I would like to create another really big one here. And let's kind of merge them slightly. A little smaller, actually. Because let's see, where the Zeppelin, I'll have to see when it flies back through, but I want to see how high it is. And maybe we go on this side, create this, make this kind of right here, shrink down a little more. Let's go not place on objects so we can line them up. Kind of put this one here, maybe, yeah, right about there. And then another super big one. Ooh, I like that right there, actually. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll flip this one. Place on object just to make it easier to get started here. And then we're gonna raise this one up super high again. Maybe we just stack them end to end. So this one will be a little bit taller than this one. Like so. Yeah, I like that actually. And they're clipped through enough. Let's see if we move this slightly over. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so the reason I wanted to do that is this is how I'm gonna kind of create visual barriers throughout the region. And then this will kind of give us cool areas to have the Zeppelin fly through. So we can change the path the Zeppelin takes. Let's place that so we don't lose it. And then if we go into our flight paths here or not flight paths, but the transport vessels paths. I don't want to move this one because that one's kind of, set in stone, literally. But if I go to move this, okay, so that actually changes the path like that. So that's interesting actually, because how do I select, oh wait, traveling vehicle. So depot is full, so it already has the path. So what I'm gonna have to probably do is delete it and then rebuild it. I can leave the other depot up so that it doesn't, mess with the fact that I built it into the rock. But I'll have to probably delete this one and then rebuild the path once I get all my scenery in place. So we should just try and get all the scenery in place first, figure out the path we're gonna have it take, and I want it to be fun and interesting. So maybe that is the task for the day. Because wouldn't it be cool if you're riding an airship and you go whoosh and you just go right in between these rocks? Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. All right, so what do I want the path to be? I mean, if it's going in through here, it should kind of go in here and then just kind of go straight up, as long as there's nothing major in the way, which there shouldn't be. I think this will mostly be town of some sort. Not mostly, but a good chunk of it. Maybe make a maze of rocks would be kind of cool, or just have some open desert landscape. Not quite sure. So it came from here through there. I think it'd be cool to have it pass by one of these obelisks. It won't go all the way to here. That doesn't make any sense to have it go that way and then zip back down, because you can only have one stop really for it. So the question becomes, okay, so from here it'll go down, curve through there between those rocks. Let's have it go past this obelisk, which means there has to be enough obstruction here for it to feel like it needs to go this way, and then we can have it kind of cut back down this direction along this chasm and then up to this one. It doesn't have to be too like zigzaggy, but we should create enough questionable obstruction through here that it makes sense for it to curve up this way and around. Which gives me an idea, because the chasm is or not traversable, like can't put paths in here. I don't even know if players can walk down there. It's a good question to ask. Hold on, we're gonna pause the game real quick and we're gonna steal somebody. Who is the unlucky person? Oh, you're in a party. Are you in a party? You are not in a party. That's unlucky. Okay, we're gonna drag you, and you're about to get your butt dumped in the middle of a desert. So if I put you here, what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit on your butt. Oh, it's paused, that's why. Press play. Okay, what are they thinking? What are your thoughts? Bought a monster, yes. And you are running. Okay, that's fine. What if I put you here? What happens? Okay. Apparently they are capable of running across it. The same question needs to be asked, what happens if I dump you in the river over here? Because this is a chasm also. You're able to walk it. And then you go zipping up a cliff. All right. Question answered, I suppose. Let's just put him back down in this area. All right, so maybe there's not as much issues with players being able to cross it as much as it just won't let me build paths there because the game hates me. But since I can't put paths there anyways, do I just populate it with rocks? Maybe I just make this whole chasm right here just a rock section. Wall of rock. Let's make a big one. And we'll put the big one kind of like, yeah, let's just dig it right into the rock or the sand there. We can start to create what this will look like, and then we'll bury that one there. And then we'll have one more big one, the pointy end out here. And I would like to bury this just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this will kind of be like an ancient ridge, like this used to be a ridge line potentially. We'll do that, and then what I'd like to actively do is make another one of these toppers, on this one at least. So go like that. Now we've got a couple of these. Yeah. So this is what I mean, like if you create enough high obstacles, you create that visual barrier out in the distance, and then it makes the entire place feel bigger. We're gonna go maybe like half the size of that other one. Raise this up. We'll go maybe there. Actually, we can sink it further so that we get a good stagger in size of these layers. Kind of like that. Kind of want a really big one, but I want to do it a little bit differently. Go slightly above there. Yeah, and then have it kind of look like it continues as part of the same thing. Place that one, and then let's do that and move this over, rotate it so it's not identical looking. Place that. And then from there, what we can actively do, we can go align to surface and we can place one of these on top. And then what I'll probably do is shrink it slightly so that the base fits with the base. Like so. And then we can create another one that's even a little smaller. Rotate it a little bit. Then we're gonna precise move it inside of that one. Like so. So we get some interesting rock formations. And then we'll fill in down here a bit. Might have to have one more big segment. So it feels like this is a little bit more unreversible. Irreversible is not the right word. What am I looking for? Okay, that feels a little better. Kind of creates a little bit of a wall segment with some space in between. Looks cool. Some features should kind of project off sideways off of this, because otherwise it does look a little obscure. Actually, now that I see some of these flat ones too, I kind of would like to put something right on top of here. Shrink it again a little bit. I'm okay with that. All right, so now we got a little bit more of a barrier here. Makes more sense that we'll be able to kind of curve the path of our Zeppelin through this space by the obelisk, around that rock, and then it'll kind of zip around, I think, maybe along this way. So we'll see what we need to do. Maybe along this chasm too, we add the same kind of component, and then we can always have a portion where we do build paths where players pass kind of in between the two big canyon walls. Because if we visualize it from down here, and then you're walking along here, there's a little break, you can get something visually, maybe a see-through there. We'll get rid of that cactus, I think. But then another wall over here, you wouldn't even know you're that close to that starting point in the region, because you wouldn't be able to see it. So you'd be like feeling like you're in a totally different area already. All right, I think I like that sound of that plan. Let's just get rid of this cactus like we talked about. Now looking at, not the grid lines, but the chasm lines, like I want to have something, well, let's see, I wanted to fill this one. No, not this one. Actually, kind of that one. I want to create a walking path where there's kind of a canyon, but do I want it to be here or here? If I put something that ends here and kind of scrolls all the way up this way, it's going to make it hard to get the Zeppelin to kind of go around things. But maybe if I have it tall here and shorten as it goes this way, then the Zeppelin can kind of fly over. The other question is, well, maybe let's do this first. I've decided we're going to delete this. Does it get... It got rid of both of them. Son of a biscuit. It's okay, it's okay. I just reloaded a save. Everything's fine. It's okay. Nothing to worry about. Okay, how can I rearrange this path then? Okay, see what that does just by moving this over. Now the Zeppelin goes way out here to that touch point and then back. So there has got to be a way to like rearrange this. Okay, if I just rebuild a new one, that deletes the wonderful thing I had. So I don't actually want to do that. Okay, so we're going with plan C now. Plan C is reload those rocks, build the airship depot there, and then we're going to move it back into its home. Okay, now we got the little entrance here established. That's back in where it should be. Now, I'm going to drop a save. That way, if we screw this up, we can always come right back to this point. I'm going to grab that by clicking on there. Now we should have the flight path. So if I go like that and then curve it this way, and go here, and then that will curve, yeah, straight through there to like right there. That'll come, make sure this goes through the rocks well, there. And then I want to place this where it's gonna live. So this will just be literally its permanent home. So we never have to do this again. Although if I did move it, now that there's a pivot point there, I guess I kind of could put it anywhere, which is not too bad. I'm gonna put this, I have some plans for some other Zeppelin depots, so I want to put the attachment point, not the attachment point, but like the docking section that's up high, I want that to be kind of facing this direction like it is, which means the entrance to the building might actually get obstructed a little bit and be a little strange. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. if I place this, oops. Yeah, right, I like that. I just need to double click it. There we go. And that's there now. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got our Zeppelin flight path. That's what we're gonna stick with. Now from there, that means we'll be able to kind of add obstructions and things along the way here. So we need to essentially use this as our guiding point to where we can place other rocks. Which means from here, we need to establish that the fastest route is gonna be through those rocks here and not to just go straight this way. So we need to put something else kind of directly in front here. Which should kind of go well with the whole theme of like this is a natural wall barrier of sorts for whatever town is going to be here. We'll just place some more big stuff. The other thing I was thinking about, and it'll involve me actually getting rid of this rock here specifically, and I think I'm going to get rid of this one for the time being too. I was kind of debating like obviously not having any of the red rocks, but after some thought now, I think what I want to do is have kind of half the area be this kind of beige sandstone and the other half kind of transition into the redder rock, as if there's like two different mountain ranges that used to originate here and kind of meet, and each one has different types of, you know, layered sedimentary rock colors, and that way we can get away with having both colors but have some sort of a reasoning behind it, I guess. Oh, we get to watch our Zeppelin go through everything now. Oh, that's kind of weird as it like tips up and down. Not sure how I feel about that, but as it goes through the rocks, shouldn't run into anything. I like how the boat section is along the track here and the flotation device is up high. It fits like kind of right in the middle of the rocks that way. Yeah, and then it'll arrive over here. I don't want to have to do this again, but I am a little frustrated at the fact that it dips up and down so much like that. I'm not sure how much I like this. I'd rather it just stay at a higher altitude, even in the ravines, right? Or I should have at least had this one kind of curve more around this way so it stayed lower and didn't just look like it was on a roller coaster. Oh well, it's what we're sticking with for the time being. And then even though the entrance is over here, the reason I want to use the red rocks is because I've got some plans for this side as we approach the snowy sections. I think for now, let's finish up kind of our main rock wall formation here. So we'll have a couple more big boys in here. Alright, we'll do that, and then I kind of want to do something kind of crazy here. I want this to be coming off of here, but gonna get a little buck wild, as they say. Oh, stop twitching. Axes or flat. Transition it this way, and oh, this is probably too far that way. That way. It's gonna pivot from the top, so maybe, yeah, let's bring this in to make contact. Here, bring it down. And then we gotta pivot this out. Bring it down again. And let's go out just a smidge. Yeah, there we go. So we'll place that. It's a little precarious, obviously. Like when it tipped over, why didn't it knock this one down? But I think what I'll do is I'll have like some societal precautions put in place, like maybe they tie some ropes or stuff into it so it helps support it, because they know if that collapses, it could potentially cause bigger issues. Yeah, so we'll kind of go with that kind of element and theme. Well, I guess those are tilted pretty badly, aren't they? Crap. I want to leave some kind of a gap in some spots. We'll leave kind of a gap here. Put some smaller ones in, because I mean these are still going to be pretty huge compared to player characters, so it's not like the place wouldn't be well defended if it was just relying on these rocks as a natural barrier. Oh, since I reloaded my save, I just realized this cactus is still here. Stupid cactus. Put a big one, but we'll sink it. So that way it's got a big top to it, but it's not like, you know, really tall. Wait, maybe I can do something like that by going like this, and then I'll just drop it as low as I can. Yeah, there we go. And then I can add some smaller ones around that. That'll actively be like the same height, but a smaller, yeah, same height, but a smaller top to it. Yeah, you just gotta feel it out. You gotta feel out the landscapes as we're going. We'll do a flipperooey here. I kind of want to, yeah, let's do that. So it's like a cliff face here, but it's like an open section. You know, in a perfect world, if there was collision on these objects, you could have the players kind of walk out here like it's some kind of little like viewing platform. I'm gonna flip this back over, and we're gonna shrink them and put a couple on top again. I like it kind of off-centered like this. Go a smidge smaller. Go pointy side that way, actually. That doesn't work too well. And then we'll add some like, yeah, let's add some like character ones that are like, not character, but like, you know, gives the landscape character if there's some standalones kind of out here. Gotta have some standalones. Maybe put one out here. There we go. And then I'm gonna kind of do the base of this kind of like I did the other one. We'll flip these. It's not quite flat. And I like the idea of this kind of being a platform like this because I want it to feel like there was these large pyloned things like this one next to it, and these obelisks were kind of carved out of the rock that was there. So rather than moving the rock to build it, they just carved it directly out of what was already there. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for there. And then what we'll do on this side is to continue this wall theme. We're going to transition to the red rocks. So we'll kind of place maybe one of these here, fairly big. We'll kind of make that the last sandstone piece, or beige sandstone piece. I kind of like this one just where it's at. That can live there, that's fine. And we've got a lot of options actually for these ones. Holy mackerel, that's huge. That one's really cylindrical, maybe too perfect. That one's really tall and thin. This one is a little more oblong. These ones can get huge though. Holy, yes, it can. Interesting. Let's try and get this to be about the same size as this other one. Like there. I don't know if I'm looking at this from the right perspective, but that's... We'll go two's a little big. There we go. That's pretty good there. So we'll say there was like two mountain ranges that kind of met here, kind of formed by different methods. I'm gonna sink this just slightly so that we don't have to deal with issues on ground exposure. And let's add some smaller ones in here still, so that it looks like there's a little bit of a blend. And in theory, I would say they should get bigger as they get closer to the mountains, but we also have to keep in mind that if they're taller than the mountains, they're going to be really visible from other regions. So like here, we want to make sure, like you can see them over there, but none of our players are ever going to be that high. Our players are all down here, so they don't actively know that that's there. But I do like how if you were up high here a little bit, like can you see from the flight path maybe? Oh yeah, just barely, but not much. So that's good. I like that. So let's add one of these big fat boys. Not that big though. Big fatty boy. And we want the top of this. I feel like the top of this should be even with the top of this one. As close as we can get it. Just because we want it to be like there was a even layer of sand to some extent. Now granted, if we make smaller ones like the one we did down here, kind of changes the layering a little bit, so I'm not going to be too picky, but we're gonna try and have some repetition here. And ultimately we can kind of blend some of these. We look at the layers, kind of go like that. You know, it's touching so that it can create some kind of natural barrier. But you can still kind of see through areas. I like that. So let's kind of do the same thing here. And we'll have this kind of staggered down. So we'll make another one here. So these are high, medium, and a little bit lower, as if the layers do kind of look like they slope. So let's put that one like right there. And then over here where our town will kind of be centralized, we'll put some really big ones. And what I want to do, might have to use the fat one for this. I want to do the same thing I did on the other side and create kind of a inlaid thing here. Better yet, what if I go and just place this like it's coming out the top? Doesn't quite fit the whole thing inside. But that's like just about perfect, like height-wise. I just need the other portion of it hanging off, kind of like if it was like that, so the deck was hanging off, but then I could still hide all this. Where does the ship attach to? Let's look at that real quick. Okay, so I like that. Question is, how do we hide this better now? It's either that or we go really big with them. Try to have it come out like maybe either this layer or this layer, but then this thing would have to be pretty freaking huge. So let's try pretty freaking huge to start with. Yeah, I'm thinking out of the center pylon. What do I have? Oh, I have another layer underneath there I'm not even playing with. Okay. Let's get the doorway exposed like that. And if there's some structure like this, I mean, that's kind of what we had on the other one anyways. So that's not really a problem. I'm gonna delete, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm gonna delete this road. I wanted to keep that big. Please go back to being big. Yeah, kind of like that. Don't ask about the snow yet. We haven't gotten to the snow parts where this is all gonna get really challenging. But yeah, go like that. We'll place that. Okay, now this is where things are gonna get, I guess, buck wild, as I would like to say. Hold on, everyone pause. We're gonna do the upgrade real quick. What can we add in here? I don't need more subs, so we're not gonna do advertising. Let's add to bling. That's fine. Okay, we're gonna go paths, we're gonna go flight paths, or rather transport vessels. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build this one, and then I'm not gonna do another one, but I'm gonna build another one by itself, not gonna create the path, build another one, not create the path. We'll do that for the time being. We're gonna see how close I can get these things together. Okay, we're gonna place that one there for now. Put another one this direction. Kind of like there. So this is shifting our rock and everything around a little bit, but I'm not too worried. And now the real hard question is, can I get another one on the back here? Oh, I think I can do it. Okay, we'll go like that for now. The ground should resettle a bit. Yeah. And then we'll take this, we'll go precise move one more time. We're gonna increase the size just a smidge so we get some more diameter out of it. I'd like it if each of the building portions are attached, like they're laid in the rock. Like that. But I'm trying to avoid this from happening. See, there it is again a little bit there. If I drop it. Well, that almost does it. Ooh, but that's exposing down here now. Okay, what if we go... I hate to go too big with it, because then it's gonna just encompass everything. Okay, we gotta shrink it down, I think. Barely 3.3, wherever we can get that right about. I want to hide everything below. Ooh, we might have done it. All the doorways are unobstructed, I think. And I think all the bases are covered up too, and it doesn't look like there's any weird clipping. Nice, okay. This is exactly what we wanted. We're gonna place that. We now have a massive kind of air depot docking yard. Perfect. Okay, so we'll have now the capability of having airships that can come in and out of here and leave to, I mean, in the future, pretty much anywhere we want in the game, I guess. This is good progress. Put a few more of these good-sized pylons in. And let's do like another big one over here. I think it was, what was this? This other one was 3.3. Go like that. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna give us capabilities in the future if we say need to expand our air depot. Because, not really a spoiler, but my idea for this region is the culture of Zephyr, or not the culture, but the economics of Zephyr are gonna revolve around the creation of the airships. So we'll have the docking yards that kind of go in and out of pretty much anywhere we need them to. We're gonna make like a ship building yard as well, I think here will be kind of cool. And that'll kind of be the entire premise of like what brings people in and out of here, is it's this major transport hub. I think that's a pretty good chunk of stuff that we've done today. Kind of get a little bit of a basis of the idea of what Zephyr will kind of look like in the grand scheme of things, what the overall economy and culture revolves around. I think this kind of gives me a little better idea of the direction I want to go now that I've thought about it a lot more in depth. In future episodes, we will continue building out this kind of central hub and town. We'll start adding in some quests here too. I've got some decent ideas, I think, for Zephyr, but I like the way things are kind of coming to me naturally, organically as I go through this. So the more I kind of place around, I might start fiddling with things. For example, I didn't want to use the red rocks originally, but now I'm thinking they work really well, both because of their size and mass, but we can kind of create some color differentiation over the course of the entire region as well. So until next time, I am Kyle. This has been that one playthrough of MMORPG Tycoon 2, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day.